Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times just demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome to First Contact Radio. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of February, 2015. Right here is what we're looking at. So we have a sun sign in Aquarius, a moon sign which has made a transition. It completed that transition at 1:05 a.m. Everyone was asleep. This transition took us into Scorpio. So we have an air sign and a water sign. Okay? Scorpio is a water sign. Water is dealing with our emotions, our feelings. The sun sign, which is Aquarius, deals with air, words and actions, things of that nature. Okay, so now let's take a look here at the aspects. We have this aspect right here coming up. Well, we had a square which took place a couple hours ago, a lesson between Mercury, our communication, and Scorpio, that transformation that comes from that. So dealing with this over the course of the day, and then as we get to the afternoon, 2:15 p.m., we have a trine between Neptune and Scorpio. Neptune is telling us we need to look at things from a new perspective. Tarot card is the Hangman, one who flips upside down to see things differently. And that's what we're being encouraged to do. Look at things differently later this afternoon to see what we're looking at and how maybe we could look at it in another way. Today's also the last day of Mercury retrograde. It goes direct tomorrow, so we've made it through another Mercury retrograde time. Hope it wasn't too challenging for anybody out there. On the Jewish calendar today is 21 Shavat. 21 Shavat, year 5775. Daily thought, illumination. In truth, there is no need to change the world, for each thing has a place, and in its place that is good. All that's needed is a little light. In the dark, there is no way to know what belongs in your closet, ready for use, and what belongs in the laundry, ready to be cleaned. And so that which could be washed and used for good is despised as hateful, and that which is clean and tidy is used for evil. Torah is the light and tells us the place of each thing. Shine it bright and heal the world. Okay. Moon is 64% of the way full, making its way back down to a new moon. Space weather, solar wind, 381.5 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is in the quiet range. Not much of coronal holes. This little one still down here and one here. And this one, interesting, this is a nice little triangle going on there. So how does that affect anything today? I don't know. I'm just pointing out that this triangle is there. We've seen triangles up in the sun before, and there is another. M-class flare possibilities 30%. X-class is 5%. Geomagnetic storm activity 1%, up to 15 in the mid latitudes. High latitudes a little bit more. We're at 20 to 25%. Things are dropping from there. And up in the sky tonight, it says one of these dark moonless evenings. Take Steve Gottlieb's Best in Show tour of the 4 planetary nebula in the February sky under the article Charts and Pictures. Okay. Anyway, this is what we're going to see when we look at it tomorrow. So we can just imagine over here and the planets we're going to see as we look down. Okay, we'll see Scorpius, Sagittarius, Lupus, all just to the left. Libra, all just to the left of where the sun and moon is tonight. Saturn right up here to the left of the moon, way to the left. All right. So there you go. That's our cosmic weather to get us started today. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. So today our first story takes us over to right here. This is a UFO or drone over the hydroelectric plant in Argentina. Now we've seen this before. This is some better pictures of what's going on with this particular sighting. This one took place on the 25th in San Juan, Argentina. This is the UFO or drone over the hydroelectric plant. A group of workers on their way to the hydroelectric plant in San Juan, Argentina, were startled by a strange presence in the sky. One of them reached for his camera and managed the photograph of the alleged apparition. The witness claimed the object was moving, yet suspended in midair. Very interesting. You can definitely see some antenna type thing on top. That's all that's there. This is a little better picture than the ones we saw before. I'm going to move on from here because we've already seen that story. Here we have up by the sun. See that? Does it look like something? An object of sorts? You could see some symmetrical lines right here. We see what looks to be an edge here and an edge here and possibly an edge down here and here and here. So we see this as an object with some sort of shape to it, some sort of form. This is up in the sun, my friends. I finally got the next photo of the object, and it had gone. The surroundings looked the same, but the UFO had vanished. That would be this one right here. While using the helio viewer, I found an object in the sun that looks like a tall ship. This UFO is about half the length of the moon and only half of its thickness. There is an Earth photo in the lower corner to compare. This is a ship. It's thinner in its center and thicker at its top and lower end. It's a perfect rectangle shape. To see the object for yourself, just go to the source link and type in the day and the time of the screenshot above. This is what the Russian scientists said they saw many years ago, moon-sized UFOs that make sudden changes in direction and speed. Okay, so very easily you can do the same thing here. Just go into the helio viewer and look up February 10th, look up this info, and it's all right there available for you to check out on your own. Australian UFO hunters video shown on national South American TV, excuse me. I've tried sending my videos 300 plus to Australian news media. Interest is zero. Thank you, South America and my subscribers. It's such a shame my own country just doesn't care. Alright, all we have here is a 4-minute video that shows a number of different sightings in it. It's 4 minutes and 1 second long. Let me just kind of cut through here. There we go. There we see some nice good objects there. Another one over there. Okay, so we see 2 of them here. Alright. So this video is available, so you can definitely check it out. But this is an Australian hunter, and he couldn't even get his own country to be interested. But that's no surprise, because here in America we deal with the same sort of nonsense. Alright, here we have a New York witness reports alien in spacesuit entered his home. A New York witness in Suffolk County reported being woken up by a sound and seeing an entity standing nearby, according to a MUFON database report. The witness said he was asleep in his bed when he woke to a weird buzzing sound, turned and looked and saw a kind of creature 5 foot 3 inches standing silent in my bathroom doorway, staring down at me. The witness stated. He said he wore a bluish spacesuit, some kind, had black boots up to his knees. The outfit covered his whole body except his neck and face, which were horrible looking and very strange. He had a sad look on his face and appeared that his skin was very wrinkled or had a melted-like appearance. The Suffolk County witness was awoken by the sleep by a noise. He said Suffolk Newark County was awoken by a noise and saw an entity standing by in bed. The witness became frightened at this point and yelled out and tried to move away. I couldn't move. Then immediately I passed out, which I never do when I'm facing something like that. An ugly spaceman in my house. I think it knocked me out somehow, and even though I just stood still and didn't move towards me. The witness woke up 5 hours later. The entity was gone. I wasn't sure about reporting this, but I thought after 2 days that went by that maybe someone had seen the creature before. I pray I never see it ever again. I found a weird lump in the back around my shoulder blade that was never there before, and have a weird pain in my shoulder now. It's terrible. These aliens come into your house unannounced late at night. That scares me a lot. I haven't slept since it occurs. I also remember seeing a bright white glowing orb float past my bathroom window 3 days before the incident happened. I thought the orb was strange, didn't paid any mind. It was the size of a baseball and very luminescent. The light came off like a tail and floated very much like a ghost and was silent. Maybe that's how they find people. I'm no expert, just a wild guess. Well, when you did see it, I'll just throw a little lightness into this. It was standing outside the bathroom, so maybe there's a problem on the spaceship and you needed to find a bathroom down on the Earth. Could be something simple as that, right? No? I don't know. Just throwing out thoughts and ideas. Okay, UFO recorded at COLIMA'S VOLCAN de FUEGO. This photo was taken by the webcam. The Mexico website shows an unidentified flying object around COLIMA'S VOLCAN de FUEGO. It says the webcams. The Mexico site captured the moment in which an unidentified flying object circles the area, which has for days exhibited emanations and explosions of incandescent material and volcanic ash falls. The image was disseminated this morning, and the size of the object is not fully apparent. However, its shape presents a slender upper section, a more perturbed midsection, and two extremities in its lower end. Intense activity of volcano is ongoing and is being monitored by the Protección Civil National Office. A video was published yesterday of the phenomenon known as the golden explosion in the colossal volcano's crater. Okay, and one more story here. Astrophysicist says it's likely that we will find extraterrestrials in distant galaxies. Rapier, India's celebrated astrophysicist Gianat Narlikar does not rule out the presence of aliens in other galaxies or planets. In a question-and-answer session with students of the Ravi Shankar Shukla University on Saturday, he said, although we are not yet to find concrete evidence to establish the existence of extraterrestrial beings, it is highly possible that aliens may be present in other galaxies or planets. More Earth-like planets have been explored, hence, the existence of extraterrestrial beings cannot be ruled out. According to him, different means of communication with extraterrestrial beings have been tried over the years, from sending out satellites to search for them to leaving information on disks to outer space. However, the most reliable means of communication is radio waves. We have been transmitting coded messages and illustrations to outer spaces with a sophisticated system of computer manning the radio receivers for the past 3 decades. But the research requires patience because assuming someone from the closest system, Alpha Centauri, responds to us, the message will take 8.5 years to reach us, he added. Okay, so he says if we go out there, we're going to find them. I'm going to add to the mix. If you look a little closer, you're going to find them. Because just 4 stories ago, we saw a UFO by the sun. We're seeing things down here on Earth. There's lots of reports, so there is evidence that has been left behind. There are reports. What's sad is that we still have teachers, instructors out in the world who don't know this. It's not for their own fault, can't fault them, but it's what's going on in the world that this information is not getting out. We really have a communication issue down here on the planet. We're so confused in many, many ways. And then when we think we know something, we confuse ourselves even more by throwing other nonsense into the mix. It's really weird, really strange, and sooner or later, people on a whole need to really kind of get a grip and understand what's going on. Stop being fooled. You know, well, what are we going to do about this? I mean, we see people getting fooled all the time. It kind of sucks, doesn't it? To watch and know that people are getting fooled when they have the opportunity to not be. Very strange. All right, that's our UFO news. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on here. I want to, before we continue on with the Gospel of Philip, I got a topic I'd like to address here. Through the readings that we're discovering in the Nag Hammadi, we're finding information that really is confirming the dark presence down here on planet Earth. Not only does it confirm it, but it talks about how the dark presence is the same dark presence that was involved in creation of a lot of went down here. Now this creator, this being, those involved, it's not the be-all end-all God of eternity, of the entirety. No. We've come to understand the difference. Jesus talked about the God of the entirety, referred to him as Father or Mother, Abba. But the God that created this system, the human beings and so on, was someone else, Yaldabaoth. Now, these stories relate to other stories that are out there. It relates to the stories that the Mesopotamians or the Babylonian texts tell about Enki and Enlil and the Anunnaki. Whatever the case may be with all of these stories, down here on Earth, Earthlings put their minds together to figure things out. And I don't know what's really going on with people's learning these days, because there's just, it seems backwards, and it's kind of sad, the lack of critical thinking that occurs in the world. And you see a lot of it. I see a lot of it. We see a lot of it with young kids. Makes me wonder what's going to happen with the younger generation, because they just really are so confused and so walking so blindly into the New World Order that what's going to become of them, I don't know. Hopefully they'll snap out of it at some point or another. But the other night, the night before last, was the Grammy Awards. And for years, I've been telling you, others have been telling you about the influence of Satanism in the music industry, in Hollywood. And people don't believe it. However, every time one of these Grammy Awards shows, it seems to become more evident. I even got some phone calls from some folks who told me that they were surprised to see the influence, how much Satan's worship was going on at that show. And I was glad to know that they were finally seeing it. And I was scouring through forums and I was reading what people were saying, and a lot of people noticed it. It was hard not to notice the influence of devil worship going on when you have singers up there singing songs, dressed the way they were dressed, people in the audience wearing horns. I mean, it was there. Okay, it's evident. Anyone who watched it sees and understands. Anyone who's been listening to what's going on in these texts and the understanding of the archons has an understanding about the darkness that's around us. Here's the issue that I have, why I'm bringing this up, because people are getting fooled far too easily. People are lumping in everything together in badness. You see, the Illuminati, the organization that has sprouted up, is not, and I repeat, is not what the Illuminati truly is all about. those who are on Earth, those who are moving forward with this agenda that they have, are fakers to the Illuminati story. There are those who have hijacked what it is truly all about. These aren't the illuminated ones. These aren't the ones who truly know. They're pushing an agenda. So we have to learn to decipher who are those who are truly bringing illumination to this planet versus those who aren't. When I see all sorts of names of beings that are lumped together, Lucifer, Satan, Isis, this and that, and it's like, my goodness, you can't lump them all together. Okay? Some of these beings, like Isis, is representative of the feminine aspect of God. She doesn't belong in the same conversation with some of these others, and so on and so forth. So we really have to step back. We need to look at what it is that we're listening to, and are we allowing ourselves to be fooled? Remember, the job of the devil is going to be to try to fool you. And I know people say there's no such thing as the devil character. Well, maybe as far as the legend goes, and some of the stories have been over-exaggerated, but they come from somewhere, and when we trace them back, we see there's traces back to this, to being Yaldabaoth, the one who created this planet, the one who created the human beings, not the planet, the human beings. So there's some really selfish agendas which are at place, which is what devilish, satanic stuff is all about. It's about selfish activities, trying to do something to bring into the material world something more that one doesn't have. So they act selfishly. They do things despite what other people feel or think or how it affects them, just simply so people can have their own. That's very selfish. When you get into selfish activities, now you start to move into realms, when you start mixing spirituality with that, you start to move into realms where you start to get into dark energies, because there are plenty of dark forces out there trying to fool you. So I think that we really need to take a good hard look at what's going on out there in this world and understand the influence that Satan does have in this world. We need to understand where it is, because just as much as there are those who are misunderstanding and lumping everyone together under this banner of Satanism, there are those who are looking at this show and saying, oh, it's just a show. Please, quit being so naive. It's not just a show. They are intentionally putting these messages into there. How do I know? Because as a musician, as a filmmaker, I intentionally put things into songs and into movies myself. And I know lots of others that do exactly the same thing. Why? Because it's part of how you put your message out there, because messages are embedded in many deep layers. It happens all the time. So to say that, oh, nobody would do that, you're wrong. People are doing it all the time. It just depends what is the purpose for which you're doing it. Okay? So we need to pay attention a bit more, and we need to realize that this isn't just a show. This is somebody with an agenda sending out a message over the airwaves to millions of people watching this show, hoping that some of those millions of people are going to subscribe to the ideas that were just presented. Subscribe to the ideas that it's okay to worship Satan. It's not. None of that stuff is right. Because all it does, it takes you on the wrong path. It keeps you in error. I'm not going to say sin, because sin is another word that is misunderstood. Sin has to come from an archery. Missing the mark, missing the target. Okay? That's what it is. But when we've read and we're going through these Nag Hammadi texts, what are we reading more? We're not really seeing the word sin. We're seeing the word error. The error that occurred. There was an error in ignorance. And the ignorance still exists because there are many who are still ignorant of the forces of energy that are around us. And they see dark and they think, oh, it's just for fun. It's all fun and games till someone gets hurt. So we really need to pay attention. Because when dark forces are around, we have people doing stupid things and acting stupidly because they're influenced by these dark energies. Anyway, I can go on and on and on, and I'm not going to. You get the idea of what I'm saying. We just need to pay attention a bit more. Young people, stop being so naive. Stop being so naive. The media is not going to tell you the truth of what's going on out there, so stop listening to the media, okay? If your parents don't have the sense to tell you that the media is lying to you, figure it out on your own then. There's enough information out there. Sometimes the older generation isn't going to get it. So accept it, deal with it, and move on. You get it. Because the world, as we hear, the world is left into the younger generation. Our hope is with the youth. But if the youth keep buying into all of the stupidity that they're buying into, I don't know what kind of hope is there. So we need to really be hopeful and pray that there's more young people that are waking up to really what's going on than those who are getting caught. And it's hard not to get caught because of all the stuff you go through. The food you're being fed in the schools, the indoctrination you're going through with the education, the peer pressure you have with your friends, and then all of the social networks that you're involved with. Come on, guys. Wake up, would you please? There's a whole young generation out there. Someone needs to step up, and someone needs to start paying attention and quit leading the parade saying all of this stuff is just nonsense. It's just a good show. No, someone's trying to brainwash you. And they're doing a fine, good job of it, which is why you think what they're doing is a show. Because if you really knew what was going on, you wouldn't realize that it was just a show. You would realize someone's inside your head tinkering with the mechanism there. And they're doing a fine, good job of it. So, got to get together a little more, my friends. We have to think. Critical thinking is important. That's what all of this stuff is about. Critical thinking, understanding that there's something more going on in the world that requires us to think a little deeper. There are men and women on planet Earth that have bad intentions. They have selfish intentions, and they don't care about helping others. And in the process, there are those who think, oh, they're out to help us. No, they're not. People wonder, why is Obama so interested in helping the Muslims? This is just like a dead issue anymore. Why? Because Obama is not from America. It's been known for years. Idiots out there have called the people who believe in this birthers. Well, the only ones who are the idiots are the ones who are out there calling them birthers, because the ones that are the birthers, they're on top of what's going on. It's the other ones who are lost and confused because they can't understand. But the moment you understand Obama is Muslim, he's not from America and doesn't have the same values, the moment you understand that, the moment you come to understand that everything he's doing suddenly makes sense, and you can stop asking the questions. But on a daily basis, when I flip through the news channels and I see supposedly intelligent men and women on these news channels discussing situations that are so full of disinformation and trying to find a way out of it, an answer, it just drives me crazy. Because you look and you see, is this the most we have? These are the smartest people and they can't think their way out of a box? They can't think their way around the disinformation that's been given to them? Apparently not. So we can't rely upon that. We can only rely upon ourselves and the true Creator, God, the Father, the Mother, the autogens, otherwise known as the Christ consciousness. We can only rely on those. All the other stuff we have to pay attention to and use with our eyes of discernment to see through what's going on. Okay? If any of that made sense, great. If it didn't, oh well. Those who understand what I'm talking about, you understand what I just said. Those who don't, can't help you. Continuing on with the Gospel of Phillip. The Eucharist is Jesus, for he is called in Syriac Pharisatha, which is the one who is spread out, for Jesus came to crucify the world. The Lord went into the dye works of Levi. He took 72 different colors and threw them into a vat. Then he took them out all white, and he said, even so has the Son of Man come as a dyer. As for the wisdom who is called the barren, she is the mother of the angels and the companion of the Savior, Mary Magdalene. He loved her more than all the other disciples and used to kiss her often on the mouth, on her mouth. The rest of the disciples, well, they said to him, why do you love her more than all of us? The Savior answered and said to them, why do I not love you like her? When a blind man and one who sees are both together in darkness, they are no different from one another. When the light comes, then he who sees will see the light, and he who is blind will remain in darkness. The Lord said, "Blessed is he who is before he came into being, for he who is, has been, and shall be." The superiority of man is not obvious to the eye, but lies in what is hidden from you. Consequently, he has mastery over the animals which are stronger than he is, and great in terms of the obvious and the hidden. This enables them to survive, but if a man is separated from them, they slay one another and bite one another. They ate one another because they did not find any food, but now they have found food because man tilled the soil. If one goes down into the water and comes up without having received anything and says, "I am a Christian," he has borrowed the name at interest. But if he receives the Holy Spirit, he has the name as a gift. He who has received a gift does not have to give it back, but of him who has borrowed it at interest, payment is demanded. This is the way it happens to one when he experiences a mystery. Great is the mystery of marriage, for without it the world would not exist. Now the existence of the world and the existence of marriage, think of the relationship, for it possesses power. Its image consists of a defilement. The forms of evil spirit include male ones and female ones. The male ones are they which unite with the souls which inhabit a female form, but the females are the ones which are mingled with those in a male form, though one who was disobedient. And none shall be able to escape then, since they detain him if he does not receive a male power or female power, the bridegroom and the bride. One receives them from the mirrored bridal chamber. When the wanton women see male sitting alone, they leap down on him and play with him and defile him. So also the lecherous men, when they see a beautiful woman sitting alone, they persuade her and compel her, wishing to defile her. But if they see the man and his wife sitting beside one another, the female cannot come into the man, nor can the male come into the woman. So if the image and the angel are united with one another, neither can venture to go into the man or the woman. He who comes out of the world, and so can no longer be detained on the grounds that he was in the world, evidently is above the desire of and fear. He is master over, he is superior to envy. If something comes, they seize him and throttle him. And how will this one be able to escape the great powers? How will he be able to? There are some who say we are faithful in order that unclean spirits and the demons, for if they had the Holy Spirit, no unclean spirit would cleave to them. Fear not the flesh, nor love it. If you fear it, you will gain mastery over you. If you love it, it will swallow you and paralyze you. And so he dwells neither in this world or in the resurrection or in the middle place, for God forbid that I be found there. In this world there is good and evil. Its good things are not good, and its evil things not evil. But there is evil after this world, which is truly evil, what is called the middle. It is death. While we are in this world, it is fitting for us to acquire the resurrection, so that when we strip off the flesh, we may be found in rest and not walk in the middle. For many go astray on the way, for it is good to come forth from the world before one has sinned. There are some who neither will nor have the power to, and others who, if they will, do not profit, for they did not act. Since makes them sinners, and if they do not will, justice will elude them in both cases, and it is always a matter of the will, not the act. An apostolic man in a vision saw some people shut up in a house of fire and bound with fiery lying, flaming them in faith. And he said to them, something able to be saved. They did not desire it. They received punishment, what is called, because he. There's a bunch missing in that sentence. It is from water and fire that the soul and the spirit came into being. It is from fire and water that the light of the sun of the bridal chamber came into being. The fire is the chrism. The light is the fire. I am not referring to the fire which has no form, but to the other fire whose form is white, which is bright and beautiful, and which gives beauty. Truth did not come into the world naked, but it came in types and images. The world will not receive truth in any other way. There is a rebirth and an image of rebirth. It is certainly necessary to be born again through the image. Which one? Resurrection. The image must rise again through the image. The bridal chamber and the image must enter through the image into the truth. This is the restoration. Not only must those who produce the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit do so, but have produced them for you. If one does not acquire them, the name Christian will also be taken from him, but one receives the unction of the powers of the cross. The power of the apostles called the right and the left, for this person is no longer a Christian but a Christ. The Lord did everything in a mystery, a baptism, a chrism, and a Eucharist, a redemption, and a bridal chamber. He said, I came to make things below like the things above, and the things outside like those inside. I came to unite them in the place, here through types and images. Those who say there is a heavenly man and there is one above him are wrong. For it is the first of these two heavenly men, the one who is revealed, that they call the one who is below, and he to whom the hidden thing belongs, the one who is above him. For it would be better for them to say the inner and the outer. And what is outside the outer? Because of this the Lord called destruction the outer darkness. There is not another outside of it, he said. My Father who is in secret, he said, go into the chamber and shut the door behind you and pray to your Father who is in secret, the one who is within you all. But that which is within them all is the fullness. Beyond it there is nothing else within it. That is, of which they say that which is above them. Before Christ, some came from a place that were no longer able to enter. And they went where they were no longer able to come out. Then Christ came. Those who went in, he brought out, and those who went out, he brought in. When Eve was still with Adam, death did not exist. When she was separated from him, death came into being. If he enters again and attains his former self, death will be no more. My God, O Lord, why have you forsaken me? It was on the cross that he said these words, for he had departed from that place. Who has been begotten through him? Who? From God? Something from the dead, something to be, but now perfect, something flesh, but this, something is true flesh, something is not true, but something only possesses an image of the true. A bridal chamber is not for the animals, nor is for the slaves, nor the defiled women, but is for the free men and the virgins. Through the Holy Spirit we are indeed begotten again, but we are begotten through Christ in the two. We are anointed through the Spirit. When we are begotten, we were united. None of us can see himself in either water or in a mirror without light, nor again can we see in light without mirror or water. For this reason it is fitting to baptize in the two, in the light and in the water. Now the light is the chrism. There were 3 buildings specifically for sacrifice in Jerusalem. The one facing the west called the Holy. Another facing south was called the Holy of the Holies, and the third facing the east was called the Holy of the Holies, the place where the high priest enters. Baptism is the holy building. Redemption is the Holy of Holies. Holy of Holies, the Holy of Holies is the bridal chamber. Baptism includes the resurrection and the redemption. The redemption takes place in the bridal chamber, but the bridal chamber is in that which is superior to. Something you will not find. Something are those who prayed. Something Jerusalem who. Jerusalem those called the Holies of Holies. Something the veil was rent. Something the bridal chamber except the image above. Because of this the veil was rent from top to bottom, for it is fitting for some from below to go upward. The powers do not see those who are clothed in the perfect light, and consequently are not able to detain them. One will clothe himself in the light sacramentally in the union. If the woman had not separated from the man, she should not die with the man. His separation became the beginning of death. Because of this, Christ came to repair the separation which was from the beginning, and again to unite the two, and to give life to those who died as a result of the separation, and to unite them. but the woman is united to her husband in the bridal chamber. Indeed, those who have united in the bridal chamber will no longer be separated. Thus Eve separated from Adam because it was not in the bridal chamber that she united with him. The soul of Adam came into being by a breath. The partner of his soul is the spirit. His mother is the thing that was given to him. His soul was taken from him and replaced by a spirit. When he was united to the spirit, he spoke words incomprehensible to the powers. They envied him. Spiritual partner, hidden opportunity for they themselves alone. The bridal chamber, so that when he talks about the powers here, I'm guessing he's talking about the powers, the archons, the authorities. So when he was united, he spoke words that they could not understand, so that's why they envied him. So again, we're getting into the same story, the book of Genesis. But not the book of Genesis as we know it in the Bible, but as the stories we read from the Nag Hammadi text, the secret gospel of John, the hypostasis of the archons, the apocalypse of Adam. Jesus appeared, something Jordan, the fullness of the kingdom of heaven. He who was begotten for everything was begotten anew. He who was once anointed was anointed anew. He who was redeemed in turn redeemed others. Indeed, one must utter a mystery. The Father of everything united with a virgin who came down, and a fire shone for him on that day. He appeared in the great bridal chamber, therefore his body came into being on that very day. He left the bridal chamber as one who came into being from the bridegroom and the bride. So Jesus established everything in it through these. It is fitting for each of the disciples to enter into his rest. Adam came into being from two virgins, from the Spirit and from the virgin earth. Christ therefore was born of a virgin to rectify the fall which occurred in the beginning. There are two great trees growing in paradise. The one bears animals, the other bears men. Adam ate from the tree which bore animals. He became an animal and brought forth animals. For this reason the children of Adam worship animals. The tree, something fruit is increased. They ate the fruit of, it bears men. Man, God created man. Men create God. That is the way it is in the world. Men make gods and worship their creation. It would be fitting for the gods to worship men. Surely what a man accomplishes depends on his abilities. For this reason we refer to one's accomplishments as abilities. Among his accomplishments are his children. They originate in a moment of ease. Thus his abilities determine what he may accomplish, but this ease is clearly evident in the children. You'll find that this applies directly to the image. Here is the man made after the image, accomplishing things with his physical strength, but producing his children with ease. In this world the slaves serve the free. In the kingdom of heaven the free will minister to the slaves. The children of the bridal chamber will minister to the children of the marriage. The children of the bridal chamber have just one name, rest. Altogether they need take no other form because they have completion. They are numerous in the things, the glories. Those something go down into the water, and out of the water will consecrate it. They who have in his name, for he said, thus we should fulfill all righteousness. Those who say that they will die first and then rise are in error, for if they do not first receive the resurrection while they live, when they die they will receive nothing. So when speaking about baptism, they say baptism is a great thing, but if people receive it, they will live. I'm going to stop right there. Again, he's talking about things which are very, very deep. I guess the only word to think of there. Talking about not only this world, but the other. Because remember, Adam was created, as we've come to understand, by Yaldabaoth and the Archons in order to trap God. Later, Yaldabaoth was smacked down by Sophia and replaced with Sabaoth. He was thrown down into the abyss, Yaldabaoth. So there was a problem that occurred. There was an error that was taking place. And part of this error is that when we leave this body, we're still subject to some of these entities that we may not see. So we need to gain this strength in this world. That's what the whole resurrection idea is about. It's about gaining a strength that allows us to go from here to there. Because these archons, these entities, these authorities or powers, or whatever you call them, they have no power or influence over us unless we choose to give them power or influence. But they weren't created above us. We, beings of the earth, were created with the spark of God, God of the entirety, and that is enough for us to rise above whatever situations that any one has created here on this earth. And all we have to do is rest in that power of the great creator of all, the Father, the Mother, the Son. All right, let's move on. I have an article here from In5D. Today's article is called 7 Habits of Highly Spiritual People by Perry Garfinkel. In truth, the headline is misleading. The list is merely a starter set, not the be-all end-all of the assuming spiritual bliss. So what's so mystical about the number 7 anyway, other than it happens to boost book sales? As the unofficial and self-declared Stephen Covey of spirituality, I add this encouraging caveat. Just like a bad habit you can break, the same can be said of good habits. Try some of these, reap the rewards. Those would be love, and from others, love for yourself, love in general, and they will become addictive, giving rise to many other random acts of spiritual goodness that will take over your life. Happy holy days. So here's 7 good. Highly spiritual people give rather than take. To give is divine. Some research in altruism suggests people commit selfless deeds precisely because such acts make them feel good, therefore refuting the notion of selflessness. Hogwash. Is breathing selfish? If we didn't give and give generously, we'd die. I really believe that. Giving is human nature. It's just that we've forgotten our own spirit nature sometimes. Giving can take many forms. Simply paying attention to someone is a gift. 2. And they say yes more than they say no. Naysayers are a downer. No closes our hearts like cholesterol. Naturally, this excludes saying no to drugs or other self-destructive, noxious, and illegal behaviors. Yes affirms life. People always would rather hear yes rather than no, unless it's when you ask a doctor, do I have some sort of disease? They see possibilities, not problems. As Shinya Suzuki writes, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, in the expert's mind there are few. And this may be the only time you hear Norman Vincent Peale quoted right after Suzuki Roshi, but there is something to the power of positive thinking. If not the power of positive thinking, spiritual people are optimists. They believe in belief. They are lemon to lemonade folks. The problems as opportunities advocates, the positive spin masters. 4. They walk a mile in your shoes. They understand that empathy means feeling another's pain, but not so much that they take others' pain and become another's pain. With that empathy, they tend to know exactly what to say or do to how to make you feel better. In gratitude, we say to them, you are a saint, even when we do not mean it literally. It is true, literally. 5. They count blessings and small wonders. They do not expect spirit to appear accompanied by fire and brimstone and a big neon sign flashing in the sky. They're not waiting for the big aha, nor are they waiting for the cure to cancer, the job promotion, or the love of a lifetime. They appease the tiny details, the smile of a child, the sparkle of an old person's eyes, the morning's first rays of sunlight, while others have recommended not to sweat the bad stuff, small stuff. Spiritual people savor the good, small stuff. 6. They give compliments generously, accept them with humility. There is no limit to people's need for praise and appreciation. I suspect that even Donald Trump deep down is desperate for a compliment. Spiritual people do not see people's needs for support as a weakness or a flaw. They see it as a cry for love, and they comply without hesitation. On the other hand, those who respond to a compliment with grandiose objections and deflections, who cannot accept a compliment with grace, probably feel they are not worthy of it, but they are worthy of it. Even the Don is worthy of it. 7. They worship where and when the Spirit moves them. They don't need a temple or church to practice their spirituality, nor do they need a Sunday morning service at 10 a.m. They don't even need a rabbi or a priest or a lama or a sensei. Their spiritual setting is a forest, a beach, a mountaintop. Their setting is a movable spiritual feast, for they know the true spiritual setting is within, and it travels with and within them wherever they go. And a year-end bonus, they laugh a lot. Have you noticed Santa's ho-ho-hos on his way down the chimney? The Dalai Lama giggles his way to enlightenment. Alfred E. Newman has an eternal grin. The laughing Buddha is, well, laughing. Spiritual people are happy, not just a smiley face kind, but the deep down content kind of happy. If you have trouble getting happy, try this trick I learned long ago from no less a sage source than the musical Bye Bye Birdie. Just put on a happy face. The act of smiling alone triggers a happy hormonal shift from a gloomy mask of tragedy to spreading sunshine all over the place, and what could be more spiritual than that? So let's get to the point. All right, more to the article, but you get the idea where it's going. I'm going to move us on to a message for today. This is from Archangel Gabriel. Here we go.
Archangel Gabriel,
February 5, 2015. By Marlene Swetleshoff.
Archangel Gabriel,
Beloved ones, let us have discourse on the quality of love called will. This quality can assist each individual to reach their highest potential and expand their consciousness. Aligning with divine will is aligning with one's true self and their soul's purpose. The next step in humanity's evolutionary journey is to align with, understand and integrate the energies of divine will. There will be a quantum leap in consciousness that will be brought about by more of humanity focusing its will collectively and choosing to follow the divine will for their life and all life on the planet. There is a shift from the material plane to the spiritual plane that is now taking place, transforming every level of life as each individual willingly surrenders to the higher power within them. When each individual lives in alignment with divine will, they start to live according to their heart's deepest desires. As they align more deeply with the divine will for their lives on all levels of their being, they begin to fulfill their purpose on earth by living their highest potential. With their alignment to divine will, they experience an expansion of consciousness that expresses their inner light, their true self and their desire to serve the greater whole of which they are a part. When they align their will with divine will, they are swimming with the current, they are in the flow, and life becomes more harmonious. When they dedicate their life to serving as an instrument of divine will, the world becomes a friendlier place where peace and love prevails. When one believes that there is a supreme, loving intelligence that governs all of existence, that each individual is being guided through divine will into the unfolding of their life in a way that has their best interests in mind, this opens up the awareness that every situation they are presented with is a gift, an opportunity for them to learn, grow, and move closer to realizing their highest potential. By surrendering one's individual human will to the will of the divine for their life, it accelerates their path to living the best life they can possibly live. Their intent to experience more peace, more purpose, and more joy in their lives is harmonious with all that is good and right and becomes the most logical, life-affirming and practical choice they can make. When they are living their soul's purpose, all that they do brings them freedom, joy, and fulfillment. The divine blueprint of their life unfolds, bringing light to the planet, to all of the people on it and to all of creation. As they formulate clear thoughts that are infused with light and charged with loving and powerful intention, it allows their consciousness to expand in every way. As they identify with the higher attributes of divine will, divine purpose, divine love and divine ideas, it connects them with the higher vibrations of consciousness. Each person has a unique sense of self and of their own life's purpose. These individuals possess the tools to become aware of who they are and what they bring to the world. They are confident in their ability to create prosperous and fulfilling lives based on this wisdom and knowledge, while at the same time respecting the rights and privileges of others. The will within each person is a power they use to bring the self into action. By this choice, they feel more powerful, in charge and in control of their surroundings, and consequently feel much more happy and satisfied. They have a healthy level of self-esteem in their trusting of themselves and the decisions they make to live life fruitfully and effectively. They are self-responsible, reliable, and balanced in their personal human perspective, and are in tune with their personal power, self-confidence, and joyful spontaneity in their responses to life. They have the ability to face life's daily challenges and are genuinely warm, caring, and charismatic. They take full responsibility for all their actions and activities. They show great self-discipline in expressing their true feelings in a loving way in every situation and have the inner power and persistence to change any habits that do not serve their highest good. Strength of will is one of the cornerstones of success, both spiritually and physically. When one exercises their willpower and self-discipline, they gain inner strength, which is attained by overcoming their inner resistance in the application of self-discipline. When they are convinced of the importance of willpower in their life, it is easier for them to do whatever they have to do. When they are the master of their mind, they enjoy inner peace and happiness. Outer events do not sway them, and circumstances have no power over their peace of mind. The power of using one's personal will and self-discipline give an individual more control in their development of all the inner powers which are essential for a spiritually led life. One's willpower and inner strength are vital skills, necessary for carrying out tasks, chores, and decisions and for the achievement of their goals. This quality of love is required for humanity to take its next evolutionary step so that they are able to experience and align with divine will and live their lives accordingly. Aligning one's life with divine will can open one's vision, release inner limitations, liberate their spirit from the bonds of materialism, deepen their intuition, and enable a person to create their highest future. One becomes more conscious of their higher path and of those activities that fulfill their soul's purpose for being on earth. This can create profound and wonderful changes in a person's life. One's ability to choose to develop their strength of will requires a willingness to live with the consequences of the choices that were made. Any desires that are strong enough, such as the desire for spiritual growth and enlightenment, can call divine will into one's life. Divine will works from the higher planes and transforms every level of one's being, all the energies it connects with, and creates the desire within one's heart to serve humanity and God. All of life is interconnected. When enough people invoke and live in alignment with divine will, all of humanity will begin to shift in its conscious awareness of the light of the Spirit. When the higher purpose of humanity becomes known and fulfilled, the other kingdoms of life can also reach their next level of evolution. May you always align your personal will with the divine so that your life unfolds in grace, ease and with all that is rightfully yours to enjoy. I am Archangel Gabriel.
All right, good message from Archangel Gabriel again, talking to what it is we need to do to be able just to rise above the situation we're in, because this physical world is not the be all end all. And we often get trapped in here, forgetting that there's more. Physical world is here. There's obviously opportunities for us, because one of the things that we hear all the time is that as life was being created and humankind was being manipulated, all of this was happening under the watchful eye of the All-Father. So none of this happened just on its own accord without knowledge. And I would imagine that if God, the entirety of all, didn't want material world down here, could very easily be remedied, that we wouldn't be here. So we are here for a purpose, something to learn from here, but also to remember that we're not of here. We're just here at the moment temporarily. So learn what we can, but continue to learn, because when we leave here, we're going to go elsewhere, which is a bit more, as we seem to understand, influential than what the material world is at the moment. All right, this is the Warrior of the Light for today. A warrior of light needs love. Love and affection are as much part of his nature as eating and drinking and a taste for the good fight. When the warrior watches a sunset and feels no joy, then something is wrong. At this point, he stops fighting and goes in search of company so that they can watch the setting sun together. If he has difficulty finding company, he asks himself, was I too afraid to approach someone? Did I receive affection and not even notice? A warrior of light makes use of solitude, but is not used by it. That brings us to our meditation, so close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, exhale again. Imagine yourself walking down the path of life, and you're walking and you see others on the path. Some people are happy, some people are sad, Some people are angry. Some people are confused. You see all sorts of different ways in attitudes and thoughts coming off of people as they move along. And as you walk, searching for meaning to what it's all about, you think to all the gifts that you have within you. And you are aware that when you came into this life, all that you have is embedded in the spirit that fills your body, your being. And therefore, with this spirit, we can attain anything that we need. Bring it into manifestation. Assist us with this process of life. So we just imagine that when we live our lives to the fullest, we are fulfilling our life's purpose. And that living our life to the fullest is simply allowing the fullness of God to flow through us and let this goodness go out and create. Because God most certainly is a creator. And so when we allow this creative spirit of Father, Mother, Son to enter our lives, when we connect with His higher power, we see our fullest potential. So let us imagine, as we move through life this day, that we see the potential that we have within us. And we allow this potential to rise to the surface and make its presence known in the world. Let us strive this day to be better than we were yesterday. And not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. And let us just be present in this moment of where we are today. So let's just imagine walking through the world, expressing ourselves to the world this day in all of our fullness. Feeling the fullness that flows through us. Being present in the moment. Understanding the true gift of the present. That the present is truly a gift. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of experiencing. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Lots of information, lots of links for you to follow. Check them out. This Gospel of Phillip is quite in-depth. It is a little bit different than some of the others that we were reading, but certainly well worth understanding and well worth personal study. So follow the link, reread over and over, and really get the meaning of what it's all about. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue on. Till then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.